What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about some new cards announced for Darkwing Blast. Of course, I am a bit behind, and I'm doing these videos a bit out of order, but that always seems to be the case. Maybe I'll catch up someday, maybe not. But we are going to take a look at some new ninja support that was announced for this set, and it's definitely one of those archetypes that's always been a fan favorite over the years, and have gotten sporadic pieces of support. The most recent I could think of was Shadows of Valhalla, with cards that came out that were okay. They got a Link monster that was pretty solid, but it really wasn't enough to put them over the top. So hopefully this new support will actually be good. Now, I have to be completely transparent. I have not read any of these yet, whereas normally I do read some of them before I get into the video. So my initial reactions to these are going to be exactly the same as though I was reading them for the first time, because I am. So with that being said, let's jump into the video. Alright guys, thank you so much for checking out the channel and the video, and thanks for sticking with me. Before we get started, I just want to ask, if you do enjoy the content and the conversation, please hit the like button and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified when a new video is uploaded. I'm inconsistent sometimes. I post like a bunch of videos one week and then none the next, and vice versa, but I'm working on being a bit more consistent with it. It's just a matter of the content and the schedule, but that's not why you're here. You're here to look at the new ninja cards, so let's jump right into this and not waste any more time with our first card, Sky Ninja TOBARI. Sky Ninja TOBARI is a level 1 Earth Winged Beast monster that says cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects during the turn it is special summoned or flipped face up. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon one ninja monster from your hand in face up or face down defense position. During your opponent's main or battle phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon one ninja fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Now, I have not yet seen a ninja fusion monster. I do believe we have one in this set of reveals. We'll see whether or not it's generic in terms of its material, but this is pretty cool in terms of being a quick fusion that can sort of operate similar to Edge Imp Scythe in terms of timing, and being able to discard itself to special a ninja is kind of cute. I do wish that was a quick effect, because then you could do it during the opponent's turn, and on your turn flip whatever monster you bring back, which would give you a bit more utility for the ninjas that benefit from being face down. Still, it's not bad, and the protection from battle or card effect destruction during the turn it is summoned is definitely an added bonus. Next up, we've got Insect Ninja MITSU. It's a level 2 water insect monster. It says if you control a ninja card or a face-down defense position monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target one face-down defense position monster you control, change it to face-up defense position, and if you do, change this card to face-down defense position. Then, if the targeted monster was a ninja monster with a card different from this card's name, negate that opponent's activated effect. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So that's confusingly worded, but basically what it says is if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target a face-down monster you control and flip it face up, then flip this card face down, and as long as the monster you flipped up wasn't another copy of Insect Ninja MITSU, you negate that effect. And that's pretty cool. Plus, it's able to special summon itself, so it does act as an extender and gives you more options with the deck as a whole, and it's a level 2 water, so it might be a Toad target, but as I'm saying that out loud, I'm starting to think Toad requires aquas, not water, so forget I said anything, and we'll move on to the next card. Beast Ninja BAKU is a level 3 wind beast monster. It says if this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. If this card is special summoned or flip face up, you can target one ninja or ninjutsu art card in your graveyard or face up spell and trap zone, except a card with this card's name, return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Pretty solid. Special, when you search it, you could special it, so obviously ninjas have a solid amount of ways to get this out, and it does give you the ability to recover ninja cards from the grave, and more importantly, ninjutsu art cards from the grave, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video when we look at a few potential support cards to consider. But I do like this, and I like that they're giving support for all the different typings that the original ninjutsu arts can bring out. We've got Beast, we've got Insect, we've got Wing Beast, so it does make those older ninjutsu art cards a bit more viable, and like I said, we'll talk about that in a bit when we get to the support section of the video. Musket Ninja KAGERO is a level 4 fire warrior that says if this card is summoned or flip face up, you can special summon a ninja monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position, except Musket Ninja KAGERO. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one ninja card or a face down defense position monster you control and no other cards, While this card is in your grave, quick effect, you can special summon this card in face down defense position, and if you do, return the targeted card to your hand. So, you have a ninja card on the field, your opponent goes to pop it, you quick effect respond this in grave, special it to the field, and bounce your card, and same if it is a face down defense position monster, which obviously combos with some of the newer cards we've seen, but also some of the old ninjas too. Being able to revive itself is solid, and of course acting as an extender or a reviver by itself when it's summoned or flip face up, means you can ladder into combos, and it has some late game recovery that's going to be useful for this deck. Plus, it's a level 4 warrior, so it's searchable by a lot of different things, and of course has similar typing to Hanzo, so overall it's pretty solid. I do like what they're doing in terms of giving you some actual reactive plays with these. Specifically, I think the insect one is pretty strong. It does require you to control another face-down monster, but it looks like they're setting you up to do that effectively within ninjas, so hopefully that won't be too much of a detriment to how the deck functions overall. War Ninja Mason is a level 6 Dark Warrior that requires 2 ninja monsters with different types. Well, we've just got 4 new ones with different types, and of course there's some existing ones as well. Must first either be fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by tributing the above cards. Your ninja monsters can attack directly. Cannot be targeted for attacks while you control a face-down defense position monster. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can special summon 1 ninja monster from your deck in face-up or face-down defense position. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it has a Thunder Dragon Colossus type alternate summoning condition where you can just tribute 2 ninja monsters, so you can make it during the opponent's turn if you want using the quick effect of one of the ones we discussed earlier, or you can just tribute them, or you can play polymerization, I guess, if you want to. There's various different ways to get this out, but being able to tribute it means it's easier to put on the field, and your ninjas being able to attack directly with no drawbacks like having the stats or anything is definitely pretty solid and can be useful in games where you're spamming the board. And of course, being unable to be targeted for attacks is kind of, you know, a nice little bonus because it does sort of force your opponent to deal with your face-down monsters first, which of course trigger your flip effects, but it doesn't have any built-in protection, so I wouldn't say it's incredible. Still, it's a free fusion that you can bring out by tributing extra stuff, so if you do, say, flip a monster and you don't want to leave that monster on the field for whatever reason, there are ways to get it off the board and get another body on board as a result. Grabbing ninjas from the deck is also solid, and it does have the true Draco condition of just when your opponent activates a card or effect, so pretty easy to pull off. Doesn't really offer you any negation, but it should combo well enough with some of the other ninjutsu support cards to warrant a place in the deck. Novel Ninjutsu Art Book is a quick play spell that says if your opponent controls a card, you can set 1 ninjutsu art spell or trap and or 1 ninja monster, up to 1 from your deck and up to 1 from your graveyard. So you can't get 2 from the deck, but you can pull a ninja directly out of the deck or one of your ninjutsu arts, which is definitely going to be the better move, I think, getting a ninjutsu art out of the deck that you can either activate that turn if it's a spell, or a trap that you can activate on the opponent's turn, or your own turn being a quick play, obviously sets you up for better combos. If this set card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Definitely don't know that this card needed a hard once per turn restriction. I think the fact that it forces you to summon face down is actually going to be enough of a restriction in and of itself, but I guess they didn't want to give you too many pluses, as the card is inherently a +1 upon activation. But it's solid, it's searchable, and it does get you faster access to your ninjutsus. I don't love that the opponent has to control a card because it means you can't use this as an opening turn play to set up going forward. I wish they'd be a little bit more courageous with some of the effects and activations that they give to ninjas, because we know the deck really needs as much help as it can get, but it's definitely a solid piece of support that's not super hard to resolve. Ninjutsu Art Equipment Kanamagura is an equip spell that says the equipped monster gains 500 attack and is treated as a ninja monster. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. You can banish 1 ninja monster from your graveyard, then target 1 card on the field, destroy it. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished ninja monsters, either add it to your hand or special summon it in face down defense position. This is really good. It might actually be the best one I've seen so far. It does not have to be equipped to a ninja monster, as it turns 1 into a ninja. So basically it gives ninjas some removal, and when it does go to the graveyard, regardless of how, you can get 1 of those back, meaning you could banish a monster like Hanzo, pop something, and then you can link away or fusion away with the monster you control, and then add your Hanzo back for later plays, or even special summon it if you want to go in that direction. This one is really impressive, and I like it a lot. With equip spells, I'm reminded of things like Sacrifice from back in the day, which was a really powerful equip spell that gave Clifford's a ton of advantage, and it's always good to see cards like this that can actually give the deck some plays and some power, and turning a monster into a ninja that maybe otherwise wouldn't be does give you some more application that might be more niche, but it's certainly not bad, and it's an additional effect on the card, so We're not using it for that reason explicitly, but it's definitely good that we can search this and get access to our removal easily. Ninjutsu Art of Fallen Leaves Dance is the last new one, and it's a continuous trap that says activate by targeting one ninja monster or face-down defense position monster on the field, tribute it, and if you do, special summon one ninja monster from your deck. When this card leaves the field, send that monster to the graveyard. If this card is face up, you can target one Ninjutsu Art continuous spell or trap in your spell and trap zone, return it to the hand. You can only use one Ninjutsu Art of Fallen Leaves Dance effect per turn, and only once that turn. Now, the first thing that stands out to me is that first effect, if this is a translation error, seems to suggest you could target a ninja or face-down monster on either field, meaning you could tribute a face-down opponent's monster and then special a ninja from the deck, and if that is true, that's actually pretty solid. Plus, if you utilize your spell card, the Equip, to turn your opponent's monster into a ninja and then tribute it with this, you can then remove things in a tributing fashion. I'm not 100% sure on the verbiage there, but the way it's worded suggests to me that because it's a trap, you can tribute an opponent's monster, because it just says on the field. That makes this really solid and gives you a solid thing to search with some of your older Ninjutsu Art cards, so I do like this a lot. It can bounce itself based on the verbiage, just not in the same turn it was activated, so that's something to consider. You know, it is gonna send that monster to the graveyard, maybe different options to go, but there's plenty of Ninjutsu Art cards that stick around after the fact if the monster is not destroyed, and you have the ability now to kind of make use of those a bit better with this card. So overall, I do think this is some really, really solid support, and I'm actually kind of excited to see what people come up with, because some of these cards seem really good, and a few, I think TOBARI is definitely one that seems to be a little bit less strong, but even then, I don't want to discredit it, because I do think it is pretty solid in terms of the quick fusion effect. But let's take a look at a couple support cards and see what we have from existing ninja stuff that might help this deck going forward. Looking at support, the first thing that's going to come to mind is Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. Of course, one of the most famous ninja monsters, and the only one that's ever really had any real value. Hanzo is a level 4 Dark Warrior that says when this card is normal summoned, you can add one Ninjutsu Art card from your deck to your hand. When this card is flip or special summoned, you can add a ninja monster from your deck to your hand, except Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. Now, this card does not have a once per turn restriction in any capacity, so if you are able to revive it, you can utilize its effect multiple times. Hanzo is absolutely going to be a must for this deck, given that it can search pretty much anything you need whenever you need it, and the combos are going to be about. Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation is a continuous trap that says activate this card by targeting a ninja monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Send them to the graveyard, then special summon one dragon, dinosaur, or sea serpent monster from your deck whose level is less than or equal to the combined levels of the sent monsters. When this card leaves the field, banish that monster. So, less than or equal, meaning you could send Hanzo in anything that's like 4 or higher, bring out a level 8 dragon, level 8 dinosaur. There's so many different combos, and people back in the day used to play this with the dragon rulers as a bit of a fun deck. There were different ways to make this stuff work. You see Horus in the background on the picture. You actually can't summon Horus with the effect, but it's still kind of a cute throwback for some cool art. I really like this card as a way to remove some stuff the opponent controls. Of course, it does target his cost, so the opponent can chain in response, getting it off the field, but given that we can search this and reuse it, it's definitely worth considering as an option when thinking of support. And of course, Hidden Village of Ninjutsu Art is another one. If a ninja monster is summoned to your field, you can target a ninja monster or Ninjutsu Art card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. If a ninja monster or Ninjutsu Art card you control will be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can banish a ninja monster from your graveyard instead. So this protects your spells and traps as well as your monsters. It does give your fusion monster a bit more protection, and of course you can summon ninjas quite frequently during your opponent's turn, meaning you can get a search or a card for later, and the drawback of not being able to use it that turn is not going to impact you all that much, so it's a pretty good field spell to consider. And of course, the last one that comes to mind is Ninjutsu Art Notebook, which I think is definitely something to consider. This is a continuous spell that says once per turn, you can send a ninja monster from your hand to the graveyard, set one Ninjutsu Art spell or trap directly from your deck, except Ninjutsu Art Notebook. So not only is this card not a hard once per turn, it's a soft once per turn, it gets you access to all kinds of stuff while also setting up your graveyard with ninja monsters to either revive or make further plays. As you know, there's plenty of ninja support, and certainly not enough time in this one video to cover all of it, but I'm definitely excited about the future of these cards and really kind of seeing how they all come together, because it does look like we have a pretty cool slate of cards in Darkwing Blast. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think these ninja cards are actually going to see some play? Do you think there's different deck combinations that can utilize these as an engine? Because don't forget, a lot of these traps and such give you access to different types, like dinosaurs, winged beasts. There used to be decks that played it with Dark Simorgh. So there's plenty of different ways to build ninjas. Let me know what you guys think by sounding off in the comments down below. And again, please like and subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy the content and the conversation. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.